Hi, in this video we'll learn how to solve the quadratic equation by taking the square root of both the sides. So let's take a look at the first example. The first example I have is pretty simple. We have x squared is equal to 4. Now the variable is being squared. How do I get rid of the square from here? It's simple. I just have to take the square root of both the sides to get rid of the square. See what will happen if we take the square root of both the sides. So when I take the square root of both the sides, I have x squared is equal to square root of 4. Now, whenever you take the square root, you have to remember the plus and remember to put the plus and minus sign in front of the square root. You put the plus and minus symbol to the right hand side of the equal to sign. So always remember to do that, and we'll talk about it in a bit, that why do we do that. But let's see here. So here square root and 2 get cancelled. Now how? Because whenever you write the square root and when you don't write anything inside the index, it is considered as 2. So this is square root, this is the square root, and this is the square. So when you take the square root, these two cancel out each other. So you're only left with x in the left hand side. And then on the right hand side, you have plus and minus. Now, what is the square root of 4? What number multiply by itself to give you 4? Well, we know that that number is 2. So we have got two values of x. The first is positive, the other one is negative. And the best way to write it is like this. So x is equal to plus and minus 2. Now, the question is, why do we add positive and negative sign here? Now, you see that you have got two values of x, positive 2 and negative 2. Now, what happens when you plug in positive 2 here? You get 4. Now, what will happen if you plug in negative 2 here? So, negative 2 square will also give you 4. Positive 2 square gives you 4, and negative 2 square will also give you 4. So, you've got two solutions. You've got two solutions. That's why you add plus and minus in, before the square root, because you know that when you will square it, you will have two solutions. Whenever you have the negative number inside the square, that also gives you positive, and when you have positive number inside the square, that also gives you positive. I hope that makes sense. Now let's take a look at the next example we have. I have x squared plus 8 is equal to 4. Now, how about this one? We only have the variable being squared. Now, here we have the variable being squared, and then we have a number being added to that variable. So what we do is, first of all, we get rid of positive 8 from the left-hand side. Plus 8, we get rid of plus 8 from the left-hand side because we want x by itself. So let's subtract 8 on both the sides. When you subtract 8 on both the sides, these two cancel out each other. Now, on the left-hand side, I have x squared. On the right-hand side, I have 4 minus 8 will give me negative 4. Now, again, I have got the square. How do we get rid of the square? Is you take the square root of both the sides. So we'll take the square root of both the sides. So, let's take it. So I have square root of x squared is equal to square root of negative 4. And then I have to remember to include plus and minus sign in front of it. Now, square root and square will cancel out each other, and we'll just have x left. X is equal to plus and minus radical negative 4. Now, since we have a negative number inside the radical, we will not have any real solutions. Now, think about it. What number multiplied by itself will give you negative 4? Well, there's no such number. There's no such real number. So this is not a real solution. So I can say that x squared plus 8 equals 4 does not have any real solutions. Okay, now let's take a look at another example. So this one was my first example. This is my second example. And let's take a look at the third example now. So this time I have x minus 4 whole square is equal to 40. Now how do we solve this one? So what we have to do is we have to follow the same method. Whenever you see square and you want to get rid of it, you take the square roots of both the sides. Why do we take the square root of both the sides? Because we want to balance the equation. Remember, whatever we do to the left-hand side, we have to do the same thing to the right-hand side. So we'll take the square root of both the sides to eliminate square from here because we have x inside it and we want that x. So we'll just get rid of the square. So I'll take the square root of both the sides. I have x minus 4 whole square inside the square root, and this is equal to square root of 40. And then I have to remember to put a positive and a negative sign in front of this. Now, square root and 2 will cancel out either. Square root and square will cancel out each other. I'm only left with x minus 4 inside, and then this is equal to positive and negative. Now, I know that 40 is not a perfect square, right? So I'm looking for the perfect square that will evenly go into 40. So I can write this as 10. I can write this as 4 times 10. Now, I know that, let's solve this first. On the left-hand side, I have x minus 4 is equal to plus and minus. Now, 4 is the perfect square of 2, so I will write 2 here, and then inside the square root, I'm left with 10. Now, I want x by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'll add 4 on both the sides. So let's add 4 on both the sides here. So when you add 4 on both the sides, these two cancel out each other. I'm left with x is equal to, let's write 4 first instead of writing this first, because this will look weird. Let's make it more organized. 4 plus and minus 2 square root of 10. So that's my final answer. That's my final answer. I have two solutions for this equation. Two solutions. What are my two solutions? The first one is 4 plus 2 square root of 10. And the other solution is 4 minus 2 square root of 10.